Hello everyone and welcome to RoboRadiology. I am Hossein Fazilatpour, your presenter for the third episode of Academic Writing for B1. This video is based on Longman Academic Writing Book 3, Chapter 2, Narrative Paragraphs. Here we are going to cover the rest of this chapter and reach to the finish line. Chapter 2.2, Compound Sentences plus Comma Rules. Good writers use a variety of sentence structures. Some sentences may be short or contain only one subject-verb combination. Others may be longer and contain two subject-verb combinations. At page 40 in the writing model, you see a folk tale. A folk tale is a traditional story that is passed down orally from one generation to the next until someone finally writes it down. Every culture is rich in folk tales. This one is from Japan. Omusubi Kororin, the tumbling rice ball. Once upon a time, an old couple lived in the countryside. They were happy, but they were poor. One day, the old man went to work in the forest and took his usual lunch of 3 rice balls. During lunch, he dropped a rice ball and it rolled into a hole in the ground. He heard happy singing coming from the hole, so he dropped the other 2 rice balls into it. Inside the hole, some mice were having a party. They thanked him for the rice balls and invited him to join them. After a while, the mice told him to choose a box as a reward for his generosity. He could choose a big box or he could choose a small one. He thought about taking a big box, but he finally chose a small one. Back at home, he and his wife discovered that the box was full of gold coins. A greedy neighbor who always wanted more money heard about their good fortune and quickly made plans to visit the same hole. At the hole, he pushed several rice balls into it, and sure enough, the mice invited him in. The greedy man wanted all of the mice's gold, so he pretended to be a cat. He started meowing loudly, and the frightened mice ran away. The gold disappeared with the mice. So the greedy man got nothing, not even a rice ball. Let's go and answer to some of the questions about this model. Look at sentence 2. How many subject-verb combinations are there? Please pause and go back and check. Here, 2. The sentence was, they were happy, but they were poor. In blue color, you can see the subject, and in the green highlighted color, you can see the verb. So we have 2 subject-verb combinations. In what ways was the old man smarter than his greedy neighbor? Well, he was truly generous when he gave the rice balls to the mice, and he did not ask for a lot in return. So he was truly generous, not pretending to be generous. Sentence structures. Good writers use a variety of sentence structures. Some sentences may be short and contain only one subject-verb combination. Others may be longer and contain 2 subject-verb combinations. In chapter 1, we learned about simple sentences, and simple sentences has 1 subject-verb combination. Another kind of sentence is called a compound sentence. A compound sentence has 2 or more subject-verb combinations. A compound sentence is composed of at least 2 simple sentences joined by a comma and a coordinating conjunction. Look at the example and let me use my laser pointer. Here, he heard happy singing, comma, so he dropped the other 2 rice balls into the hole. He is a subject. Heard is verb, happy singing, comma, so. So is a coordinating conjunction, or in Persian we call it harf rabt. He dropped the other 2 rice balls into the hole. So here we have subject and here we have verb. So in a compound sentence, we have more than 1 subject-verb combinations that are connected together with 1 coordinating conjunction. Coordinating conjunctions are sometimes called fanboys because their first letters spell those words. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. I will repeat it. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. In this chapter, we'll focus on the first 4 and join sentences that are alike. Here's an example. He dropped a rice ball and it rolled into a hole in the ground. But join sentences that are opposite or show contrast. They were happy, but they were poor. So join sentences when the second sentence expresses the result of something described in the first sentence. Here's an example. The greedy man wanted all of the mice's gold, so he pretended to be a cat. Or join sentences that give choices or alternatives. He could choose a big box, comma, or he could choose a small one. I hope that you understand the coordinative conjunctions or fanboys. This is very important. Compound sentences need comma, but simple sentences does not need comma for their connections. Here, the old man was a generous person, comma, and is followed by a space, and he liked to help others. So, the old man here is our subject, was is our verb, and is the coordinative conjunction. This is the comma, obviously, and here we have another subject and another verb, and the rest of the sentence. Let's go here. The old man, we have subject, we have was as verb, a generous person, and liked to help others. Here we have liked as our verb. It is very important for you to understand. Here we do not have any subject. So we don't have subject, and this is not a coordinative conjunction. So we don't need a comma before it. Let's look at other examples as well. Let me switch to my laser pointer. The mice were having a party, comma, and they asked the old man to join them. So the mice and were are our subject-verb combination. They asked is also our subject-verb combination. Here, the mice were having a party and asked the old man to join them. Here we do not have a subject. So this is one subject with two verbs, with double verbs. So we have asked and were as our two verbs. And the last one, he took the small box, comma, and he went home. Here, he took the small box and went home. So these are grammatically different. Now, let's do practice 8, identifying compound sentences. Which of these sentences are compound sentences and which are simple sentences? We're going to write SS for simple sentences and CS for compound sentences here. We use comma as needed as well. Number 1, it is a simple sentence and we're going to check why. Let me use the pen. A long time ago, high in the Alps, an old man lived with his goat Blanchette. An old man is our subject and lived is our verb, and this is a simple sentence. After using time order signals in the beginning of a sentence and before a subject, it is generally advised to use comma, and we do not use comma for then and soon. Number 2, she was a wonderful white goat and was very kind to her master, Monsieur Seguin. Here we have subject, here we have verb. She was a wonderful white goat and was, so here we have was. It is a simple sentence. The next one, they have lived together for many years. So we have they and we have had here. One subject-verb combination. So it's a simple sentence. Blanchette was always fastened to a tree. Was and Blanchette. We have simple sentences. Next one, she was often sad. So we have she and was, often sad, and sometimes she didn't eat her food. Okay, here we have a compound sentence. Where should we put our comma? Before the coordinative conjunction, after sad. Number 6, every day she looked, so she and looked, at the big mountains and dreamed of being free to explore them. Here we have verb and verb, but we don't have two subjects, so this is a simple sentence. Number 7, one day, she asked her master for more freedom. She and ask, we don't have any more subject-verb combination. So this is also a simple sentence. Next, you can tie me with a longer rope or you can build a special enclosure for me, said Blanchette. So let's check. You can tie me with a longer rope or you can build a special enclosure for me. It is a compound sentence. we put the comma before the coordinative conjunction. So after the rope, immediately after the rope, we need a comma. And also remember to put in a space between rope, comma, and or. The rest of the practices, please do it yourself. It is easy. Don't worry. You will be fine. You can also comment if you have any problems. Practice 9, forming compound sentence. We're going to make one compound sentence or one simple sentence with two verbs. And we're going to use and, but, so, or, and join the sentences together. It became very dark. Blanchett was suddenly afraid. It is an example. It became very dark, comma, Blanchett was suddenly afraid. This is a compound sentence. We have coordinative conjunctions, commas, we have subject, verb. It is a compound sentence. Number 2, she heard a noise. She decided to go back to her enclosure. She heard a noise and decided to go back to her enclosure. So here we eliminated the subject here and added and made a simple sentence. She heard a noise, comma, and she decided to go back to her enclosure. Here we have a compound sentence. I hope that you understand this. It is a little bit tricky, but it's not too difficult. After practice, you will absolutely get it and understand it. Practice 10. Writing compound sentences using the given coordinated conjunction. Write a sentence that tells two things you might do during your next vacation. Please pause the video and write the sentence. It is very important, so please do that. I hope that you wrote your sentence right now, and I'm going to proceed with the example. During my next vacation, I might visit the beautiful beaches of Hawaii, or I might explore the historical landmarks of Rome. Here we have or, I might, modal verb, and here we have I might, and here is our comma. Next one, write a sentence that tells about two different careers you might have in the future. Use or. Pause the video. In the future, here we have a time order signal, then we have subject, and then we use commas. Okay, remember that as well. In the future, I might become, might, and I, subject, and our modal verb. In the future, I might become an innovative software developer, or I could pursue a career as a successful entrepreneur. I could. 3 comma rules. It is such a great and simple thing to learn to elevate your writing. Rule number 1. Put a comma after a time order signal that comes before the subject at the beginning of a sentence. I already told you that. Yesterday, comma, I did subject at the beginning of the sentence. Okay, it is very easy. Yesterday, I did homework for 3 hours. These are other examples. There's an exemption. Usually, there is no comma after then, soon, and now. Number 2. Put a comma after the first sentence in a compound sentence. Put the comma before the coordinating conjunction. Here's an example. I was too tired to think, comma, so I decided to take a short break. We already done a ton of practice. So I was subject verb. Here we have comma. Here we have coordinating conjunction. Here we have subject, and here we have verb. So it's a compound sentence. Here the exemption. Do not put a comma between a simple sentence with double verbs. Put a comma between the items in a series. It is very important. The series need to be 3 or more. We don't put commas for series of 2 items. I got up, comma, took a shower, comma, drank up a coffee, comma, grabbed my books, comma, and ran out the door. Red, white, and blue are the colors of the United States flag. So after red, white, and blue, we have 3. But here, we do not use comma. Red and gold are the school colors. Here's an example. Practice 11, using commas correctly. Tomokio and Keiko are from Japan, and Nina and Daisy are from Mexico. Where do you think we should need put commas? We have subject here, verb. We have also Nina and Daisy as subject, and here we have verb, Here we have coordinating conjunction, and this place should be where we place comma. Next, they serve Japanese tempura, Mexican arroz con pollo, Chinese stir-fried vegetables, and American ice cream. So we have a series of items. They are all foods. And sorry if I'm mispronouncing some of the food. They serve, so it is our subject, and serve, our verb. It's not relevant, but it's very important for you to be able to really and quickly identify the subject and verb in each sentence. They served Japanese tempura here, Mexican arroz con pollo here, Chinese stir-fried vegetables here, and American ice cream. And this is the correct punctuation. Let's talk about free writing. You remember that pre-writing is the step in the writing process which you get ideas. In chapter 1, you learn about the pre-writing technique called listing. We made a list and chose from. And as you can remember, I used George R. Martin name, J.K. Rowling name, and I wrote down many authors' names, and then I chose one and then explored it and tried to get ideas to improve upon and write. Many people tend to have difficulty when they want to get ideas about writing. So these techniques are practical and important, and you need to do them. You need to write, use these tools to make sure that you get ideas. Flow of idea is as important as correct grammar use. Another pre-writing technique is free writing. When you free write, you write freely without stopping on a topic for a specific amount of time, and you just write down sentences as you think of them without worrying about whether your sentences are correct or not. You don't have to punctuate sentences or capitalize words. You can't even write incomplete sentences or phrases. The main goal in free writing is to keep your pencil moving across the paper or your fingers tapping on the keyboard or your screen. Here is an example to write about a memorable event or experience in your life. It can be sad, it can be happy, it can be exciting. 10 minutes. For 10 minutes, without any stopping, free write about it. Here's an example of a free writing. A memorable event in my life. I am supposed to free write for 10 minutes about a memorable event in my life. I don't know what to write about. Maybe about my brother's boat accident. We were so scared. We thought he was going to drown. He was trapped under an overturned boat and didn't have any air to breathe, but it ended up all right. He was rescued and had only a broken arm. What else can I write about? Oh, I know. A day I will always remember was the day that I left my home country to come to the United States. That was a sad, happy day. I felt sad and happy at the same time. Maybe I should write about something happy. Our family vacation last summer was fun. We drove to the coast and camped for a week on the beach. Then there was a day the earthquake happened. Now that was definitely a memorable event. I never forget it. I was at home with my older sister and little brother and just go on and on about it. Writing assignment. These 5 steps are very important. Make sure to remember them. Pre-write to get ideas. Organize your ideas. Write the first draft. Revise and edit the draft and write a new draft. It is very important. No one will write a perfect first draft. You need to make it perfect after many revisions and edits. Remember to use free writing technique to practice the free writing. You might be comfortable with listing, you might be comfortable with other forms like brainstorming and things like that. We are going to learn different techniques, and I will ask you to do each technique. At the end, I won't force you to use any of them, but when you use each of them, you will learn the pros and cons of each one, and then you will be able to absolutely understand which one works for you. That was the goal. One of the things that you can really rely on to make sure that your writing is polished as it should be is the writing self-assessment check at page 257 of the book. Format. Here you need to check yourself. My paragraph looks like the model on page 32. Yes or no? My paragraph fits the assignment. It tells a story about a memorable experience. Yes or no? My paragraph begins with a sentence that tells the experience I'm going to write about. Yes or no? My paragraph has a clear purpose to inform, to persuade, or to entertain. Yes or no? I included details that match the purpose of my paragraph. Yes or no? The events in my paragraph are in time order. Yes or no? Punctuation, capitalization, and spelling. I put a period, question mark, or exclamation mark after every sentence. It is absolutely important, so make sure to do that. I used commas correctly. Yes or no? I used capital letters correctly. I checked my spelling. And also, sentence structure. Every sentence has at least one subject and one verb. I used both simple and compound sentences. Make sure to use compound sentences and give your text variety. Don't overuse it though. I used and, but, or, and so correctly in compound sentences. Here also is a very important thing to do, to know your personal trouble spots and check for verb tense errors, article errors, or subject-verb disagreement, and these forms of errors that we are going to cover. And it's very important to know your recurring errors and trying to fix them. Sometimes we struggle with the spelling of this one word and we'll always do it wrong. We will focus on this problem and make it disappear. And with that, I'm going to finish this lecture. Thank you for learning. I am really proud of you. Please share and subscribe to RoboRadiology channel, and I see you in our next video.